this week's best MMA bets. We're talking UFC Long Island. Main event is Brian Ortega, Yair Rodriguez. We got a pretty good card. We'll talk about the locks, the dogs, props, and finish it out with the parlays. Make sure you guys smash that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Turn those post notifications on and share the video as well. We will first jump into the lock section. So for this card, lock one that I'm feeling personally has got to be Amanda Lemos. The line is wide for this fight, but I think that she can outclass Michelle Waterson in the striking. She's just so much more dangerous with her stand-up game. Even though Waterson has a good striking skill set, not a ton of power, definitely not a finisher. Lemos has that dangerous pop, explosiveness. I think she's going to have some clear-cut striking advantages. Problem is the line is wide. The best value is around minus 309, but it's in that minus 325, minus 350 range for the most part. I feel like Lemos has the ability to get a stoppage, but it's not like Michelle Waterson is a girl that gets stopped easily. It's going to be very difficult to put her out. I could see this fight going the full three. I probably think that it does, and Lemos winning a decision. Over 2.5 rounds, sitting around minus 213, best value. Maybe not a bad play. Lemos by decision. What's this line at? Plus 105. I think Lemos, if you're really going hard at money line, sure, or a parlay piece, but she is a very confident pick, and I am considering her lock number one for UFC Long Island in that co-main event. The next lock on the card, I think Punahele Soriano gets the stoppage. I think he's going to knock Dolce Mbula out. Second round, I'm kind of feeling here. Soriano's a big favorite, minus 220. Dolce Mbula plus 210. The over 1.5 is an iffy play because if these two throw down, it could be a one-round fight. So I don't like the over. I think I like the under 2.5 around minus 140. And then if you look towards Soriano to win KO TKO plus 225, I do think Punahele Soriano gets the knockout. I expect his hands to be the difference maker. Legiambula is explosive. He's athletic. He's more wild though with the stand-up. I don't think he has the offensive wrestling chops to put Soriano on the mat. And I think that we're going to see Soriano striking on display. And when his striking is on display at its best ability, I think he's got the ability for the KO. He's got power for sure. Knocked out Dushko Tudorovic, who definitely has a decent chin. I like Soriano by knockout over Dolce Legeambula. Lock number 2. Next lock, Sue Matarigi over Matt Schnell. Another one where the line isn't great, but I am very confident in the striking game and range management of Sue over Matt Schnell here. Looking at the line, minus 237 for Sue, Schnell at around plus 231. I feel as though we're probably going over. I know Schnell has been finished fair amount of times, couple fights. Pantoja comes to mind as of recent. Royval, last one. But before that, he went the distance with Rogerio Bontorin, and I feel like he's probably going the distance with Maderji here. If you have the over 1.5 at minus 155, I don't think that's a bad play. I think Schnell will be a little more cautious in this fight. And Maderji's style, I think, feeds into a more decision-heavy game. I feel like outpointing him with the striking. Looking at it, Maderji decision plus 335. Not saying it's impossible for a knockout. I just don't think it's super likely. I like Sue Maderji win. I'm going to call it on a decision. I'm calling it a lock too. The over 2.5 could be a casher. It's plus 123 best value, but not my favorite. I like the over 1.5 a lot more. On the chance it goes distance, or the chance of a late stoppage, especially if Schnell gets a bit reckless. Maderji does have the technical abilities to stun him, but it's probably going long. The next lock for this card, I feel like Ortega. I know it is the last lock officially that we're going to talk about. I'll bring up some value bets in the prop section that I like because some lines have shifted, but Ortega, I feel really confident that he's going to get the win over Yair Rodriguez because I just see the clear-cut difference in the grappling. Concern, I guess, would be how does Ortega get it on the mat? That's something we're going to find out. Yair Rodriguez definitely has a very dangerous kicking game. He's super explosive. I like the style of Yair standing up, but I think if it gets to the mat, Ortega does have a real big edge. Minus 156 is the best value money line attack for Ortega. If you look at Ortega to win by submission, which is my official pick, plus 270. I believe he's going to tap Yair Rodriguez out. I'm feeling third round, over a round and a half, minus 260, over 2.5, minus 150. It's not impossible for this fight to go distance, but Ortega's submission game, I mean, even in the loss to Volkanovski, it looked incredible. He's the closest guy to ever beat Volk, and I feel like he's going to beat Yair Rodriguez here. And I know that Yair was actually promised a title shot with a win. I don't think it's likely that he does win, but if he does, it's new blood for Volkanovski. I still think Volk's got him. Like, Ortega, to me, is the only guy that gives Volk the ultimate threat because of that X factor of submission game, and I believe Ortega is a lock. Those are the locks for this card. We're going to jump towards the dog section. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you haven't yet, and let's talk some dogs. Dog number one, I like the Leech, Li Jiliang, over Muslim Salikov. I know Salikov is a very dangerous kickboxer. He's extremely crisp and kung fu-like with the stand-up. He's called the king of kung fu for a reason. He's got minus 156 tag. Leech is plus 150 as the dog. I think the better boxing is Leech. He has more power in his hands. I think he's the more finisher in MMA at this point. I do think he's got more finishing ability. I think he's faster and more athletic, though I think Salikov is definitely more dangerous with the legs and a bit more precise. I think Leech can find that chin potentially. I like a money line plus 150 attack on the Leech. If you're looking to play the knockout prop, I'll throw the line out. It is upwards of plus 350, which is pretty big. But I still feel like you're better off attacking moneyline and maybe a light sprinkle attack on the Leech by KO TKO, because Salikov is a proven striker. Don't really love the time bets a ton. I do think there's finishing ability on both sides, but more so Leech. And if he lands that big shot, it could be over at any moment. So not loving the over 1.5 or even the under 2.5 on the off shot that it did go longer. Not feeling the over-unders. I like the Leech, money line, dog attack in this spot, or the KO prop if you're looking for a little extra steam. Next one, it's going to be Charles Jourdain over Shane Burgos. I like Jourdain. He's plus 153 as the dog. Shane Burgos minus 160. Jourdain, let's see here. Over 2.5 rounds, plus 100. I expect this fight to be a war, but I feel like we're going the distance. Over 1.5 is minus 180. Let's see. Jourdain by decision plus 405. That's a wide line. I'm kind of feeling Jourdain by decision. Wouldn't be shocked if there's a finish on either side, though. Burgos is going to be super game. It's a very competitive bout. I just like the dog side of Jourdain by a bit. I see a little bit of a movement advantage. Burgos being hittable down the center line. I think Jourdain could capitalize, though Shane has more punching power. I think the speed advantage goes towards Jourdain, so I kind of lean him by decision. I expect it to be a great striking match, and I really feel like this is the people's fight of the night. Cannot wait for it. Maybe it's one you want to dog attack, or maybe it's one you want to sit out and just enjoy, because I definitely think it's going to be a war. Super excited for this fight. Next, Underdog. I feel like Ricky Simone has a good shot to take Jack Shore's O. I like the athleticism, the explosiveness, the wrestling background, the punching power that's there, especially now. Simone's coming into his own. He's plus 145 as a dog. Jack Shore, minus 149. Let's see here. I feel like we're going over 2.5. Minus 220 range. Simone to win by decision. Plus 220. I don't know if I like that, though. I'd rather just money line touch Simone if you're throwing down on him. Jack Shore is going to be live. I like the over 2.5 a ton here. I definitely think that could be something to consider. Both guys going to be difficult to finish. I really like Jack Shore's straight. 1-2 down the line. Could see it hurting Simone, but I do think Simone's explosiveness, he's going to find ways inside. I'm excited to see how the wrestling exchanges look between these two, and I'm leaning it Simone by decision, underdog attack at plus 145. I like the tag. Next, Underdog. The ladies going after it. Jessica Penne over Emily Ducote. I feel like Penne having the grappling advantage could be in the clear for a win. Problem, I guess, main thing would be if she can't get the fight to the mat, her stand-up game is extremely limited. Though I think she can take Ducote down. Ducote minus 147 the favorite. Penne plus 133 as the underdog. I think we're going over 2.5. It's minus 175. See what Penne by decision is, plus 260. I'm not expecting a knockout on either side. I could see Penne maybe by submission. That's plus 470, but not super likely. It's a very low likelihood of that. I like Penne as a money line attack as a dog. I like the over 2.5 rounds. I expect these girls to go the distance. I know Penne's older, though. She's nearly 40, so you're playing with fire, but it's a good underdog attack, and I do think she gets the win. We'll see what Tate can do defensively with her wrestling and offensively with her stand-up. We're going to learn a lot in her UFC debut here. And the next dog, I think Dustin Stoltzf, plus 124. Dwight Grant, minus 132. I think Stoltzf is a good pickup as a dog. You look at Dwight Grant, I mean, naturally a 170-pounder, just was knocked out a bit over a month ago. Coming into this spot to take on Stoltzf, who's going to be stronger. I think he's going to have advantages in the physicality department when they get inside of the cage. Grant definitely has punching power, but up a weight class, and Stoltzf has a grappling game. I think Stoltzf is going to show that here. At plus 124, I think he's a good moneyline dog attack. I don't know about submission. Stoltzf's decision is the official pick. It's plus 400. Out of curiosity, Stoltzf's by sub is actually plus 400 as well. By KO, TKO, plus 1,000. Grant by KO, plus 230. He's up a weight class, though, and he hasn't fought at this weight class, I believe, since 2011. That's over a decade for Dwight Grant not fighting here, not taking time to grow into the frame. Stoltzf is not a small middleweight. I think he's going to give him problems with the grappling. I think with the hands, it's competitive, and maybe Grant's power doesn't translate super well here. So now he's an outsized, outmatched, I think, fighter in the middleweight division against a clear middleweight. Stoltzf for the win, and he needs it because a loss here for either guy could be the pink slip, which would be unfortunate because I do like both these guys, and I see definitely potential on the Stoltzf side. Those are the dogs that I'm feeling. We're going to jump to the prop section, but we're going to slash it with value bets that I think could potentially come through that we have to talk about. Unjung, he was an underdog starting the breakdowns earlier on in the week. It's now shifted. The line has shifted. Unjung, to me, is a valuable play, money line. He's minus 110 best value. Jacoby plus 113 as the underdog now, but the line is shifted. Unjung's going to be very dangerous to deal with. Over 1.5 minus 245 is good. Over 2.5 is a little worrisome because I see finishing ability, so I don't like that there. Unjung's hands are a difference maker. I definitely think he's the better boxer of the two. Unjung by KO, TKO. Where's this line? Plus 325. I don't think that's terrible. It's unfortunate that now Unjung has shifted, so if you were waiting to play him, you're losing it now. You're losing that value. When he was sitting at plus money for a while, very good dog snipe. And I think that he's going to get the win over Dustin Jacoby here. I like Unjung for getting it done. Value bet. I have to bring it up as a value bet. I didn't want to consider it a lock. I couldn't consider it a dog. It's a value bet in the prop section worth talking about to start things off. The next of the props, I like the Tate Murphy fight a lot. Over 2.5 rounds. Moneyline Misha Tate is minus 192. Murphy plus 180. I think it's a bit wide. I do see Tate getting the win. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 308. It's wide, but I think it's very likely here. And I feel like Misha Tate is going to get it done by a decision. So I don't think that's a terrible touch. It's plus 100. I don't really see her getting a TKO here in this spot against Lauren Murphy. A plus 100. But you'd have to kind of go lighter at it. It's not a fantastic play, but it's still a prop that I wanted to cover and look at since we didn't bring this matchup up specifically. The next one, Bill Algie, Herbert Burns. I'm pretty confident Bill Algie wins. I don't think he's a terrible fighter to bet on. Biggest concern would be Burns in that first round is extremely dangerous, and he does have submission ability. So let's look at this. Herbert Burns to win by submission. What is the value? Plus 350. It's not great. Burns wins in round 1, plus 550. Playable line if you're looking for something. Algie to win KO TKO, plus 300. I think Algie might win this fight later. Third round TKO. Could also see it going the distance. Algie by decision, plus 200. Not a great betting fight, but I feel like we're going over that round and a half if it's leaning the Algie side. So maybe if you're at a place where you can parlay up both, you go Algie with the over 1.5 at minus 170. If he is to win, I think he wins it later, whereas Burns is a one-rounder bust guy. I think he needs it in the first or he's going to gas and get finished. And I think Bill Algie, still a confident pick, actually, but not officially in the lock section. But I still think like quality betting-wise, it's not a terrible line to look at. Those are pretty much the props to go through. about the matchups that we didn't talk about that I felt like I needed to get into. I want to jump to the parlays. Make sure you guys smash the hell out of the like button if you haven't yet. And if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Keep it locked in here at MMA Experts. And let's talk parlays. All right, so the first parlay that I created, 3-fighter parlay here, is going to be Ortega, Lemos, and I think Punale Soriano. Plus 204. It's a safer play with strong favorites. I like having the main event in there. It will add a little bit of sweat towards the main, but it is fun to do, and I think he's going to get the win. Plus 204, around the plus 200 range, depending where you're playing. Not a bad idea. You want to add a little more juice to it. You can add in someone like a Suma Derji, brings you to plus 322, but you still got big favorites here, so you're not getting great lines. If you're like, listen, I want to add in some juice. I like these fighters, but I want someone that's closer. Unjung, value bet, and also I think he's a valuable parlay, please. Plus 659, around plus 650. If you felt like you wanted to play the Tate Murphy over 2.5, that brings you to plus 876. There are some dogs that I like prediction wise. Could it get you into a bit of trouble? I'd much rather have the straight dog attack on Unjung, but unfortunately now that line is shifted the other way, so we don't have him as a playable dog. But this is a pretty good like wide shot parlay, more of a long shot. But if we gotta bring in something, I don't know, I'm trying to give you guys like value mixed with confidence. Could go towards Lemos, Soriano, if you don't want to play the main. And then you could also maybe lean it Stoltzf plus 308. Brings you to plus 300 range with the dog, 3-fighter attack. If you don't like Stoltzf, I know some won't. Leech is not a terrible play, plus 360. I think you're getting in more dangerous territory with Jourdain, even though he's still a dog pick. That's like such a competitive fight with Shane Burgos. It's one to attack value-wise, but like, yeah, it could get you into a little bit of trouble. Ricky Simone, another piece. I'm seeing what these dogs are worth. Lemos, Soriano. I'm going to add Ortega back to the slate. I got to have Unjung in there. I'm not going to rely on Penne. We'll go the over in the Tate fight, and we are going to attack with dog Dustin Stoltzf plus 1415. And then if you had the Leech Man too, plus 3,612. Like, obviously we're getting into crazy territory. You're probably better off not playing Leech or Stoltzf. Throw in somebody even like a Bill Algie to get the win, nearly plus 1,000 play. Granted, you're riding with all favorites. Hopefully these are the favorites that hit. I believe they probably will be. I'm feeling pretty good about the parlays that we've listed off here. But obviously, be cautious with your parlays. We can go crazy and add in all this fantasy, but like, what's the likelihood we hit this plus 7,600? Leech, Stoltzf, Maderji, Algio, over 2.5, Tate, Unjung, Ortega, Soriano, Lemos, plus 7,600 range. That is a crazy one and a true Hail Mary. Throw like, a couple bucks on that if you're going to do it. I highly recommend the 2-3 fighters max. Keep it more on the safe side. Moneyline attacks are great, especially because I'm liking a good amount of dogs on this card. I think you guys can hit on some of these underdog plays. And then, of course, some strong favorites that I'm feeling pretty good about. I think some decent props. We covered the parlays. Pretty solid this week's Best MMA Bets episode. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and turn on those post notifications too. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you don't have anything to say, but you just enjoy the content, as always, drop a W in the chat to boost that algorithm. And hey, make sure you share the video. Send it to somebody you know. Help grow the channel. We're on the road to 10K, which is something I'm super excited about. So much love to everybody, and I appreciate the continued support. You guys are fantastic. Much love to all you guys. Thank you for tuning into the show. More content dropping all week, so make sure you keep it locked in. The money line will be dropping Thursday, which is tomorrow. Friday weigh-in recap show, and Saturday, the early day fight companion. Much love, my people, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace, everybody.